Hey, everybody. On this Memorial Day night, we welcome you to the Wise Guys, the largest BYU sports live stream show in the whole world, the most watched collegiate sports live stream talk show on YouTube. Dave McCann, Jason Shepard in for Blaine tonight. Did you get the barbecue in today?
I did. I had a lot of pulled pork today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a lot of pulled pork. So I'm feeling pretty good.
Well, we're glad to have you here.
Thanks for inviting me again. You know I like doing this with you, Dave.
It's a fun show, and Cougar Nation, you know what? It's Monday. It's the end of May, and it's like, is there anything going on? There's a couple things on TV, but when it comes to BYU stuff on a Monday night, we're right here. This is
we
what
got
we
you
do.
Covered.
This week, there's Sports Nation in the mornings.
Yeah.
And on Monday night, there's Wise Guys right here. Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus and Mountain America Credit Union. Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News. Look for our new podcast tomorrow, wherever you get your podcasts. And we invite you to subscribe to our free email at wiseguys.com. You can see all our past interviews there, our past shows as well. And we encourage you to hit the free subscribe button on our YouTube channel, which helps us just grow that and makes us feel good. But look at the live stream. People from all over the place: Beaumont, Texas; Heber City, Utah; Vernal, Utah;
Harriman.
There's Harriman. There's Tooele. And we'll jump across the pond. I'm sure there's Kansas in.
Olathe.
Yeah.
I know Olathe.
A Jayhawk from Olathe. Good to have you with us. There's North Carolina. Oh, good. We love Jason. Wow, look at that.
I love Ruth. I can always count on Ruth to help out with my self-esteem.
We got an awesome show tonight. Plenty to talk about for BYU football. We are now just days away from getting the start times and the broadcast outlets for the first three games, and then it starts to become real.
Isn't it funny how it's those types of things that just completely amp us up?
Yeah.
Like, we obviously have the games to look forward to, but it's these little milestones along the way, the game times and who's going to be broadcasting. Those are things that we just eat up.
So we are going to talk about that tonight. We'll also give you our idea of when those times might be, or when we'd like them to be for the first three. And then they also say they're going to announce some like special games. Is Notre Dame BYU special enough to where ABC would say, that's our game on October 17th, and announce it this week?
Name another one that appears to be bigger than that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and now they're talking about wanting to make it even more than just this current series.
I like that idea too. I like that idea. So Wednesday, so we'll talk about that coming up. For BYU Hoops, we'll give an update on Dawson Baker. He was on the circuit of the Fan Fest, which you hosted.
Yeah,
in California.
Myself, Hans Olsen. We were in Huntington Beach, and Dawson and Dean Rickert actually were joining us on set. So we got a little update from Dawson, which all sounds very positive.
Yes. Yeah, it does. Wisconsin's on the stream. Good evening, Wisconsin. Good to have you with us. Ojai, California, checking in as well. Let us know where you're taking us in on this holiday. We'll try to give you as many shout-outs as we can. John Bytheway is going to be here in just a few minutes. We'll talk about what makes a leader. And BYU's got a bunch of leaders on their variety of athletic teams. But what can we do as mentors to younger folks to help them kind of lead them along in their leadership role? And he's an expert at that stuff and mentors, talks about it all the time. So we're excited to have him. He's also going to announce his top 5 church history sites because he does tours.
Yeah.
He's going to rank them 1 through 5 with number 1 being, I have an idea what it might be, but he's going to roll out his top 5.
There are certain times in my life where I get very excited. One of them is during a game, I'll get a text from John Bytheway saying, hey, tuning in, doing a great job. And I'm like, I just got a text from John Bytheway.
I get texts from him that say, that made no sense.
You get the exact opposite.
John, turn the volume down.
I love John Bytheway.
He's good. He'll be here. Ed Eyestone, we'll check in with him live from his barbecue. He's the director of track and field. It's championship time for BYU. And it is the holiday, but we wanted to get a few minutes with Coach Eyestone because the West Regionals are later this week. And that sets the course for the national championships in outdoors. So this was the Monday night to get the head man.
Ed Eyestone is a legend.
Yeah.
And what he has done, and obviously with Diljit Taylor, what those two have done with this program has been amazing. And I mean, we're seeing it Doesn't it feel like every time we're talking about track and field, whether it's indoor, outdoor, doesn't matter. We're talking about not just records being broken, but I mean, personal bests and, world records. It's crazy the amount of talent that has come through this program.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just keeps coming.
It just keeps coming.
We got the dream team. We're going to talk about the dream team, and we're not talking about the women's team. I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit, but he's got some runners that are Big 12 champions getting ready to maybe grab some national championships. That would be sweet.
That would be awesome, and certainly not out of the realm of possibility, as we've seen.
We'll also find out if he burned the ribs, because that's a lot of pressure.
Maybe
too.
He brought some ribs.
Gary,
actually, he's going to be on Zoom, so that's not going to be possible.
He might eat some ribs while we're talking to him.
Make us all jealous.
Gary Heaton, BYU superfan and the man behind the Ephraim Hopes Golf Tournament, will join us. That's coming up, where we raise money to send kids to school in Uganda, and we'll talk about his fandom. By the way, we started our BYU Superfan segment, and we've encouraged people to go to wiseguys.com, fill out the form, what makes you a superfan, and what dates you're available to be on Wise Guys, and then we're bringing you on the show. Your show is our show, and we'll talk about that tonight too, but it's that right there for you at wiseguys.com. And I think we're filling up right through the summer already of people going, hey, I'm a super fan. Well, tell us why, and let's go. Let's put you on the show.
Do I classify as a super fan?
No, you classify as a host.
Okay, fine.
And as a host, you're on for the whole 2 hours.
Okay, that's fine. I'm perfectly happy to do that as well.
Our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week's coming up as well. It's with golf, but it might not be who you think. So stand by for that one, our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week. We remind you, Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus. Brady Plus provides cleaning, food service, packaging equipment, dispensers, and service for businesses coast to coast, including BYU, the Pentagon, and Disney World, and a whole lot of places in between. In addition, Brady Plus has over 150 distribution facilities around the country. A recent merger has boosted their employee numbers to over 13,000. At the head of it all is a BYU grad, Travis Brady. Learn more at bradyplus.com.
Wise Guys also presented by Mountain America Credit Union, helping people achieve their financial dreams for over 80 years. Whether you're buying a home, planning for retirement, or managing daily expenses, Mountain America has the tools, technology, and guidance to help you succeed. There's a lot of information waiting for you. All you have to do is go to macu.com.
The Mackeys are on the stream from Montana. Neil's in from Tucson, Arizona. Boy, BYU in Arizona is going to be another classic basketball showdown. They might meet several times this year, but football is right out of the gate for the Big 12 on the 12th here in town, and I think that's going to be a hot game. One, it's going to be hot,
right?
But then that's going to be a battle.
And those games have luckily favored BYU, which has been the fun part. But those are games that those are challenging games. Yeah. When you look at the personnel and certainly what Coach Brennan has done down in Tucson with that program, and really turned it around. Jed Fish before him. That program is on the right trajectory.
And everybody's healthy.
Yeah.
On September 12th. Their quarterback, our quarterback, it's going to be last year's game went to double overtime.
That's right.
So it's not like the other team mopped up the other team. This is going to be a clash. And it's at home. I imagine we're going to find out Wednesday, but I'll bet you it's like at 8:15. And that's okay.
I just assume most of our home games will be at 8:15.
The Cougs, if I was the opposing team, I'd say, do not put us at 8:15.
Well, especially
give us a 1 o'clock when it's hot and it's as far away from darkness as possible.
Well, especially if you're coming from any of the other time zones. Central time zone, it's still difficult, but if you're an East Coast team coming to play an 8:15 Mountain Time, advantage BYU every time.
If I'm the coach, I'm going, what is their record at night? We do not want to be at Lovell Edwards Stadium at night.
The good news is playing them in the day has also not turned out well for other teams, which has been quite fun for Cougar fans.
When you have a good team, you can play them anytime.
Yes,
right?
You can.
Our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week is presented by Redmond, the secrets in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com. We're thrilled to invite you to Redmond Night with the Wise Guys on Monday, June 15th. We'll broadcast our show live from the Redmond Heritage Farm Store on 8th North in Orem, home of Redmond Re-Lyte. We'll have some special guests, free tacos, Re-Lyte drinks, and we'll have a good time there. In the parking lot, we invite everybody who can get there to get there and come hang out with us from 6 to 8 o'clock. And that'll be our first remote show. So come make history with us. Redmond Night with the Wise Guys, June 15th at the Redmond Heritage Farm Store on 8th North in Orem. And remember, when it comes to Redmond Re-Lyte, the secret is in the salt. I'm trying to get used to drinking, the salt.
Because that's where the secret is.
I'm trying to find the secret.
That's where it is.
And Harvey Scott will be here with us in a couple weeks from Redmond. And he knows the secret. And it's fact that it's right over your right shoulder, our support from Redmond Re-Lyte. And a lot of people drink it up, including the women runners at BYU. Kihei Akina, all those guys, they got to keep their stamina. They got to keep their mental sharpness. And apparently the secret's in the salt. Salt just rocks the body in a good way.
You know what? I may have to stand up in the middle of the show and walk over and grab a little scoop, put it in some water I got here.
It's right there.
Okay,
and you would be an expert to know. You would be an expert to know of what, after your workouts, what you refuel with. Rachel Higginson from BYU is with us. We confirmed that chocolate milk is a great thing to drink.
It really is.
After I'm like, now you're speaking our love language.
It's like, wait a minute. Are you just telling me I can drink chocolate milk and it's good for me?
I do love hearing that. John Bytheway is going to join us in just a few minutes. It's going to be awesome. Let's talk BYU football for a minute. Kickoff times will be announced Wednesday for the first 3 games at least, and special date games. And so we expect Utah Tech September 5th, Arizona September 12th, at Colorado State September 19th. What times do you expect to see on those 3?
For Utah Tech, I would expect 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Do you?
That would be my guess.
Like on ESPN Plus?
That would be my guess. If there's going to be an ESPN Plus game, it has typically been that type of game. So my guess, without any prior knowledge as to how this is going to play out, my guess would be an ESPN Plus at 1 o'clock.
That one could be an ESPNU at 8,
could
just
be.
At the end of the day. And the ESPN properties tend to love BYU, and ESPN Plus is part of that property, but with that late window, they just love putting BYU on late. And September 5th is hot here, so then I'm okay with the late ones.
Oh, it'll be toasty at the beginning of September for a day game. Yeah. But yeah, if I'm guessing right now, I would say that is an afternoon ESPN Plus game.
What about Arizona in Provo on the 12th? Is that an afternoon Fox? Is it an 8:30 p.m. ESPN?
I think it's 8:30. I think that's a matchup because you've got 2 teams with Arizona, and I believe when that game will be played, they would be a Pacific time zone at the time because obviously we know Arizona doesn't move. They just sort of fluctuate around everybody else. So I think they would try and capture both the Mountain and the Pacific, and then anybody else in any other time zones that will tune in for that game. My guess is that would be at the end of the night. Something that they would promote throughout the day.
Yeah, and it's good TV, that matchup. That could even be a Fox 6 p.m.
Could be. It would just depend on what other games are on the schedule that week. But my guess would be that's a late night game.
We'll also find out the September 19th road game at Colorado State. Now, that might be interesting because Colorado State, is that a CBS Sports Network game?
Should be.
Or is it a CBS game or what? Because now there's with where Colorado State is, there's like a bunch of handlers. It could go anywhere.
Wait, did Colorado State stay in the Mountain West?
I believe they stayed in.
Okay, so they're not part of the Pac-12. So yeah, it should be, you would think, the CBS Sports Network. And those games, there's no real rhyme or reason that I figured out on when those games. That literally could be a noon kickoff on CBS Sports.
Yeah. I don't love the CBS Sports Network thing. When there's so many other outlets, but I have a feeling that one screams, it could be 4 p.m. on the CBS Sports Network.
That's one that I would imagine is afternoon-ish, that maybe like a 2, 3, or like you said, maybe a 4 o'clock tip-off, or excuse me, a kickoff on CBS Sports. That's my guess.
October 17th, Notre Dame. Is that a special date game? Will we find out this? And one thing that ABC and Fox and ESPN, those are the players here, If they ever get a Notre Dame game, they love to just scream it from the rooftops and say, we are taking Notre Dame and Navy in November, CBS, or something like that. So I could see that one coming out on I don't see that would be a week before or 2 weeks before. I would think that ABC or Fox would say, we're taking that.
That, to me, whatever the best time slot is for that day, that's the one I think they put that in. And it obviously, BYU is going to play a major role in that because we know how many eyeballs tune in for BYU.
Yeah.
But that's certainly, like you said, to take advantage of the number of Irish fans that there are. Whatever the highest profile time slot for that day is, in my opinion, that's where that's going.
So Wednesday, it's usually Wednesday morning. They release all that, and then we'll find out. Well, okay, that means game time starting at this time, and your radio stuff starts at this time, and then everything just comes together, and it feels like it hurries here. The first college football game out of the gate is TCU against North Carolina in Ireland on Saturday, August 29th. That's in 96 days. And you know what? That doesn't feel like that far off.
No, it is going to be here before we know it.
96 days.
You want to sing with me? We do a countdown like we do on Sports Nation and sing?
We only Blaine sings on this show. And he sings a lot on this show.
You are anti-singing. You do not participate with us when we do the countdown and the sing.
No, I just feel like that is that's your thing.
Okay.
I feel like it's out of respect.
Okay. Oh, okay.
No, if you come over to our elders' quorum, we have a choir that rocks the place. I'm in that.
But what I'm saying is you could harmonize on the countdown.
Yeah.
You could show off some of the pipes.
I could, but I choose not to.
It's fine. That's fine. I respect the decision.
When you and Jerem and Spencer are about ready to sing it out, I just like to just behold it.
Okay. That's fine. I appreciate that. Just enjoy the moment.
Yeah. Athlon put out their preseason top 25. And yeah, it's early. It's early, but the fandom isn't early. Fandoms are the fandom thing is all summer long, and so these outlets are like, pretty soon Phil Still's going to have his magazine out. I mean, everything just trickles. So Athlon in their preseason top 25, they got the Buckeyes number 1, Georgia number 2, and Texas number 3. So they use absolutely no creativity to come up with their top 3, although Indiana isn't in their top 3. Notre Dame is number 4. Notre Dame's going to be 4 or 3 in just about every poll. That seems to be how the feeling is. And if they hang on, they got Miami. That's the only real tough game they've got before BYU. They could be 1. They beat Miami at home. They could be 1 coming into Provo without too big of a stretch because they're starting at 4.
Right. It's not a huge leap. It's not a huge leap.
And then we start getting to some Big 12 teams.
You've got Texas Tech at 12. Now, were they at 12 prior to the situation with?
It sounds like this is a new.
So this is the updated. So they've dropped clearly, and we'll get into this in a minute. Another poll in which Texas Tech has dropped. But this sounds about right with what Texas Tech has. I mean, I understand that you're talking about the most important position on the team that's in flux right now with the quarterback situation. But I would say, based off of everything they have coming back and the amount of money that they continue to spend on the roster, I would say 12 seems about right.
They're good. They have questions at quarterback, but they don't have any questions at the other spots.
And as long as they have the ability to continue to spend at the rate that they have shown over the last year or two, they will always be in the conversation in the Big 12, despite what our good friend Steve Sarkisian thinks about the schedule they play.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Houston's 19 and Utah's 20 in the Athlon poll. Now, CBS Sports, Shehan Jaraja, who comes on Sports Nation all the time, they revealed their new Big 12 power rankings, the new ones. They have BYU number 1.
Yeah.
The Cougars jumped the Red Raiders, and his reasoning why is over quarterback issues. So Texas Tech is number 2. Then things get interesting after that.
Yeah, you've got Houston at number 3, and they clearly were one of, if not the biggest surprise in the conference last year. So they come in at number 3. At number 4 is Arizona. And we were talking about how good those matchups have been with BYU, and the Cougars do get the Wildcats in Provo this year. Coming in at number 5 is Utah, and then TCU at 6. So your top 6, BYU 1, Texas Tech 2, Houston 3, Arizona 4, followed by Utah and TCU.
Then they got Arizona State at 7, which is interesting. It's going to be a great league, but it might not have the behemoths that it's had in recent years. We'll see. Texas Tech was going to be that behemoth with Sorsby.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden they've come back a little bit. BYU with the returning quarterback and all the guys on defense and the best running back in the league. BYU can be the behemoth with 7 home games and a pretty good schedule.
Well, and look what they've done from a win perspective the last 2 seasons. There's absolutely no reason. If Texas Tech's not going to be number 1, it's BYU. It's those 2 teams that should be in whatever order, 1 and 2, when any official Big 12 preseason polls come out.
4 minutes away from John Bytheway. He's in the green room, just getting ready like a fighter, ready to come out. And
I do see him with the punching bag. He's got a pretty nice left hook.
That's why he's sitting over there, because we might ask him some stuff. And if he's within your reach.
He's within reach.
Yeah. Cody Hagen, junior to be receiver, announced since we were together last that he's going to retire from football for health reasons. Caught 12 passes, returned 18 kickoffs, ran 9 times for 2 touchdowns. This is all last year. That 32-yarder was the game winner against Colorado. It was his biggest moment. He'll have that one for the rest of his life. So we wish him well. And football is a brutal sport. And if you can't get healthy, you don't have many options. You just can't play hurt.
Yeah, and BYU is already down some receivers, guys that have moved on. Obviously, Chase Roberts now with the Vegas Raiders. Carson Ryan. I think, speaking of Carson Ryan, I think to help out with the unknowns with the wide receiver position, I think you will rely on the tight ends a lot more. And we saw what this offense looks like with a really good pass-catching tight end. Carson Ryan was a revelation last year, and how the offense used him, and not just getting him the ball, but what he was able to do after the catch was so crucial to helping BYU throughout the entire season. And now you've got, Dave, your tight end room is really impressive.
Yeah.
And you've got multiple guys. You can go with multiple tight end sets, and it's not just like one is going to be a pass-catching tight end and the other is strictly a blocker. You can put in multiple tight ends that all are threats to catch the football and run after the catch. I think that may be the answer in terms of, with the unknowns at receiver, we may see the tight ends, which I assumed were going to have a bigger role anyway, an even larger role now.
Yeah, I mean, when you think Parker Kingston, Cody Hagen, Carson Ryan, Chase Roberts, those 4 combined for 177 receptions, 2,433 yards, and 22 total touchdowns. The returners, JoJo Phillips, 14 catches for 161. Tiger Bachmeier, 7 for 59. And then you got Tay Nakua and Reggie Frischnick. That's it. So you got all of this, and then you just have a tiny bit of this. And then you got Kyler Casper, incoming receiver from Oregon, Jaron Pula, legend Glasgow, freshman with promise, and then Walker Lyons and Roger Saleapaga, the 2 tight ends, one from USC, one from Oregon. That's why Cougar Nation's nervous. They're not nervous about the quarterback. They're not nervous about the running back. They're not nervous about the line. It's like, what do we do about receiver? And I don't think Cody Hagen was going to be a giant impact player this year, especially being slowed by injury. And so I think it goes to those 2 tight ends. We kind of roll back the clock to Dennis Pitta and his tag team partner from Colorado who caught the touchdown.
Andrew George.
In 2009, right?
Yeah, Andrew George.
In overtime, Andrew George. Those 2 types with a big bruising running back, that works.
Well, and the other thing about it is, it's not like the receiver room is expected to be bad now. It's just unproven. You had some guys in there, speaking specifically of Chase Roberts, obviously moving on. This is a guy that you knew week in and week out what you were going to get from him, and not having Parker Kingston, it just now puts other guys who have not been in this situation, in a more pivotal role than what they've been asked to do before. So it's not that they are expected to not be a good position group. It's just unproven. And then you talk about the guys coming in. We know the type of talent that's come in. Yeah. It's just we haven't seen it in this offense with this personnel. So it's not a situation where we don't think they can't be good. It's just we need to wait and see what it looks like with this group.
I've got a new article in the Deseret News this afternoon, L.J. Martin's Path to Greatness. How he can beat Tyler Algier in the rushing record this year. You can read that at Deseret.com. More football in just a bit. Our first guest tonight is an author, motivational speaker, podcast hoster, educator, BYU grad, and devout Cougar fan. Always a pleasure to welcome our friend John Bytheway back to the Wise Guys. Welcome.
Thanks. Good to be with you guys.
Thanks for getting here. Thanks for joining us on a holiday.
You bet.
It's something we enjoy our summer visit with you each year. But I've got a big question right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Rank for us in order. AJ, Darren Peterson, Cameron Boozer, Darius Acuff Jr., and Caleb Wilson. Top 5 draft picks. How do you see it?
I just want AJ to be number 1. And then I guess after that, I better go with Darren Peterson.
Yeah.
And after that, I don't know those guys.
Boozer was with Duke.
Yeah, Boozer.
He's pretty good.
Carlos's kid, Cameron Boozer.
Right.
Yeah.
Acuff was with Arkansas.
Arkansas with Calipari.
And then Caleb Wilson we saw. I remember when North Carolina came. He got hurt and missed the last half of the season.
Yeah, it's the hand. Fractured his thumb or fractured his hand or something like that.
We watched him up at the Delta Center. He's legit.
Oh, he's legit.
But I think I agree with you. I got AJ 1 in a runaway.
Yeah.
Just because of all that he can do. But that doesn't mean those other guys can't fit into the right lineup and be pretty good. But that's the by the way ranking right there. What's the coolest thing you've done since you were here last summer?
Oh my goodness. Just hearing you guys talk, I'm like, this has been such a fun several months, And what's the funnest thing I've done? Well, I'm just so preoccupied with Thursday. My son Timothy's coming home from Uruguay.
Nice.
Montevideo West Mission. Todd Santiago, Brian's brother, is this mission president. And
nice.
Before we sent Timothy off, I got Trevin Nell on the phone because he served in Uruguay and he talked to him for a while. So the wrestler returns on Thursday. Pretty excited.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
It's going to change things. There'll be a little buzz around the house, won't there?
Yep. He's starting spring, or probably, I guess it'd be spring semester at BYU. So you'll see him around. He's got biceps. I don't, but he does.
Shep's got him.
Yeah.
Blaine's got him. The biceps are usually on that side of the show. So that's what we got.
So I was not here, but when you were here last, we didn't know who was going to be the starting quarterback at BYU. So that kind of it lets everybody know the last time you were on the show.
Yeah.
So when you look back at what we saw from Bear Bachmeier in year 1 as a true freshman with limited time to get ready for the season, can you put into words, based off of what your expectations were, the type of season he had?
Oh, just incredible because he had so little time to come and learn the system and everything. And we wish Jake Retzlaff well and everything, but he comes in and just hits the ground running. It was incredible to see him. And then with LJ, it was so fun. What a fun season that was. And I'm like pacing around my couch at the games I'm watching at home. My wife loves it when I watch a football game because I get nervous energy and I clean.
Oh, you're a cleaner.
Yeah, so I'm cleaning the house.
Is spick and span during football season.
Your wife must love when BYU games are on then.
And she loves BYU football too, so it's pretty fun.
Well, also last summer, we knew AJ was going to be big, right? We didn't really have any idea how big he would be for BYU. On the court, off the court, with all the hype and with all of his production. What surprised you the most by what he did?
I loved how he just started hanging out with The Rock. I mean, I went to a couple of basketball games where he was there, and he was just all in for the BYU experience, and he was just lovable. Everybody just fell in love with the guy, having his mom and dad there all the time. Those are all the things I loved, and I thought, what NBA coach wouldn't love to have not only the player and the talent, but the character, the background? Who wouldn't love to coach AJ?
Well, and the other part about that, and it goes to what you were just talking about, his buy-in at BYU. Not only was he an now look, from a basketball standpoint, he was going to fit in to any program he decided he was going to play for.
Right.
But this is a guy, a non-member who grew up in Massachusetts, came to BYU because he wanted to be coached by Kevin Young and this staff because he knew it would prepare him for the NBA. But he also chose BYU because it was a fit for him. Yeah. He truly bought into everything about BYU, and I think that impressed me the most was how much he truly loved BYU. And I think fans felt that.
Loved it. And we feel like he'll always be a BYU guy. Yeah. Wherever he goes. Yes. That'll be part of him, and so we'll be cheering him on.
Well, and look, if he's the number one pick, and look, I know he wants to be the number one pick. Yeah. I don't think we need to tell everybody that the Jazz have the number 2 pick. But anyway.
Come on, Jazz.
But I'm just saying, for the rest of his career, before every NBA game, it is going to be a 6'9" wing out of Brigham Young University, AJ Dybantsa.
How cool is that?
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm just reading on the...
We got some breaking news.
I'm reading on the stream. Mark checking in from the capital of Lagos. What is that? Nigeria?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Lagos, Nigeria.
Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and China. The capital of Laos.
Laos.
Capital of Laos. Sorry, I'm just reading.
Okay, yes,
I'm just reading the thing. Capital of Laos. So that's our first. I believe that's our first live streamer from the capital of Laos. Welcome to the Wise Guys. See what you do. You come on the show, and the whole world joins us in here.
The world is our campus, I believe. Right. I don't think anyone's ever used that before.
So, John, when you consider AJ, Bear, Kihei Akina, Jane Hedengren, 4 fantastic freshmen, all on campus at the same time.
Yeah.
What leadership qualities stick out from those 4 that have meant so much to their teams, the program, the school, and the mission of BYU?
Yeah. I think the buy-in that you talked about that AJ had, I've only heard a couple of interviews with Jane, but oh my goodness, incredible! What a talent as a freshman. You know, my YouTube feed comes on with BYU Sports, and I'm watching her just running lengths ahead of everybody and everything. And I know she credits her coaches, which those young people do a lot, which is great. So I think that mentorship with the coach and these players and that chemistry has been huge, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's been these guys. It's been massive.
It's like you said, AJ wanted to be with Kevin Young. He wanted to be here and see what he saw what Kevin Young did with
Yegor.
Oh, with Yegor?
With Yegor, and wanted to be here for that. And I hope that just continues, and it looks like it is.
There's something about these players, and it is hard to you can sign a talented kid. It's hard to sign a talented kid that can inspire the guys around him or girls around him to be better, whether it's on a team or at work or school or anywhere. Those are developable skills, but hard to find. But when you find an elite athlete that has that, then they become special. Then others follow them, right?
Yeah.
What's the secret sauce to that?
Yeah, I don't know, because I mean, what's going to happen with cross country when people see Jane doing so well here, and what are they doing there? And they might want to come here too as well. And so, kudos to those that are getting these recruits, and just the BYU experience. I love that they come and they buy in like AJ, and look what we've got to offer, and look at the fan base. I remember hearing AJ just talk about, I walk around campus, everybody's so friendly, everybody's saying hi, and he's like, on our team, we're so excited, to have him here, and I'm glad he felt that.
The buzz of the grand appearance, Blaine and I were calling the game when he had made his ESPN announcement, then he came to Provo, and he went and took a victory lap, which we had never seen before. Here's this 18-year-old kid walking around. And he's even told us after when he was on, he didn't quite know what to do. They just said, just go out there. And he just walked around, held his hands up in the air. Never been there really before. And all of a sudden it was home to him like that. Yeah. Then he went up to the Rock and hung out.
And the Rock loved it.
Yeah.
Those other students just put their arms around him literally, figuratively, and just loved it.
Loved it. The other part about it is, AJ, I saw, calling women's basketball games, AJ was at a large chunk of those games, just coming and sitting.
Yeah.
He and Rob Wright, and you had Xavier Staten was there. You had multiple guys that would come, not just at women's basketball, but they'd show up at volleyball games, and they were at football games. And I just thought that was a really cool thing for these guys who are certainly known for one specific sport to not just be here and I'm all about basketball and I'm not going to do anything else. They truly were trying to take in the entire collegiate experience and show support to the other athletic programs on campus. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. To have them at those other games and how that must have felt for the other athletes.
Yes.
To see them there. And I love hearing Jason call a game, man. You're so good.
Well, thank you.
You're so excited. Sometimes I have to go back to hear their highlights just to hear. I wonder how excited Jason got on that play, you know.
I am excitable, John. I'm very excited.
His heart rate jumps up.
I love it.
If there's a fast break, his heart rate gets down the floor before the ball.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You know?
I just hope one day they don't put like a camera on me, because then I'd be in trouble.
Author, speaker, broadcaster, educator John Bytheway is on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus and Mountain America Credit Union. Now here comes Colin Chandler, returned missionary, married, transferring from Kentucky to BYU.
Amazing.
What do you hope to see from him as he settles into his new leadership role?
Yeah, the same thing. I hope that the buy-in's there. I hope I thought at first, I wasn't sure when AJ showed up how Richie would respond to that at first. And it seemed like it was great. And I just love that Richie was this, what'd you call it? Blue collar, came to just a BYU guy from the start to the finish and just hard worker and everything. And I thought he just blossomed. I mean, the injury was so sad, but look, he's probably going.
He's still going to be drafted in the second
still
round.
Gonna be drafted.
He's in almost every mock draft that's out there as a mid to late second round draft pick. And and I've said this before many times, whoever gets in early on Richie Saunders is going to feel so lucky down the road, because this guy is going to be a player in the NBA.
Yeah.
When you consider Richie was kind of a mentor to AJ, Bear had probably Chase Roberts as a mentor, some older players. I mean, here's these new kids coming on. Jane's had a whole successful program welcoming her. She's faster than them, but they welcome her in and kind of show her the ropes. And Kihei's inherited a veteran golf team with seniors there to kind of show them the ropes. You've done a lot of speaking about mentors and how important they are and how they breed into future leaders. Let's talk about that for a minute. When you think of, you know what, I want to wake up tomorrow morning, I want to be a mentor. What direction do we go?
Such a good question. And when I think about so many mission farewells you've attended, so many times these young people say, I want to thank my parents, my leaders, my teachers, my coaches. Always hear that. I want to thank my coaches. Been such great mentors. Yeah. Timothy's wrestling coach, shows up at the farewell. Is probably going to be at the homecoming. Coach Ashcroft. Just love that I've got a team of guys, not just me saying you should be like this, but have these other guys as mentors. And I'm not really a sports guy as much as a scripture guy.
Right. That's all right.
And there's such a cool story that's so brief. Right at the beginning of the Book of Mormon, the Book Mormon within the Book of Mormon, where Mormon says, I was 10 years of age, and Ammoron came to me, which tells you something, and says, I perceive that thou art a sober child and art quick to observe. Something you wouldn't say to a lot of 10-year-old boys, probably, but significant that Ammoron came to him. So here's somebody that sees something in a kid, that he's 10. Does a 10-year-old girl, I really could use a mentor. Who can I find? But he comes to him and he says, I've been watching you. He sees things in him he doesn't see in himself, and says, I want you to observe this people when you're 24 years old. It gives him a path, gives him a purpose, gives him all that stuff. And I think of, you've both had mentors. I think of my mission president was incredible that way. And he had these little, I got to tell you about my mission president. You know who Willy Wonka is, right?
Yeah.
The real Willy Wonka is Enloe Smith, my mission president.
He was the real.
He was
Willy
those
Wonka.
Candy companies.
He had a chocolate stream.
Tangy Taffy, Oompa Loompas, Sweet Tart, Spree. Those were his.
Wow.
He sent boxes over to the Philippines when I was there. And he was not a member of the church, but he married a less active member, found a Book of Mormon on the shelf. 10 years later, he was my mission president. Still alive, lives in St. Louis. He's got to be 98 or 99 or something. But he loved the story of the brother of Jared. When the brother of Jared is getting instructions on how to build a barge, and he says, "Why we can't see, we can't breathe, we can't steer." And for the light problem, the Lord tells him what to do: make a hole in the top, make a hole in the bottom. Or for the air problem, and he says, "What do we do for light?" And the Lord says the most interesting thing: "What will you that I should do for you?" It's like, what do you suggest? Go figure it out. And I don't think that the Lord was stumped, right?
No.
Yeah. So he's go figure it out. I remember Mark Pope saying that was one of their family mottos, was figure it out. Does that ring a bell with you guys?
It could have been.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Figure it out. And I love that idea. So I have to tell you a story about my mission president. So one time I was in the office. I came in, hey, this problem just happened. What do we do? And President Smith is like, he's like, Elder Bytheway, you want to get ahead in business? And I thought, yeah. And he said, solve your boss's problems. And then he said, you never come to your boss with a problem. You always come with a recommendation. And his whole deal was a good leader trains leaders as he leads. And talking about these players, helping the younger players, not seeing the room, the receiver room, the running back room as a competition, but we're going to help each other because we're teammates. And so he gave me the 5 levels of delegation. I've used this so often. He's like, okay, level 1, seek problems, solve it, keep it to yourself. He says, I don't want you working there yet. You know, he said, level 2, seek problems, solve it, come and tell me what you did. I'm not ready for you to be there yet either. He said, level 3, seek problems, study it out in your mind, come to me and recommend a solution. That's what I want you to do. Level 4, seek problems, come to me and say, what do we do? That's what you just did. He said, maybe there's another level. I find out about the problem. I find out about the problem and come to you. Yeah. But he said, I want you to sit there and you figure this out. And then you come and recommend a solution. What was he doing? He was training a leader. And I remember, I'm so old, you guys, this is before cell phones. So President Smith goes to Singapore, and me and Elder Broderick from Orem are trying to run the mission. And this massive problem came up with the Manila MTC. I can't even remember exactly what it was, but I remember, I'm like, what would President do? What would President do? And you know what? We figured it out. Because he trained us to think. And that kind of training helped me when I was a bishop, teach my ward council that, of a good leader will train leaders while he leads. And maybe like Amaron, I see stuff in you you don't even see in yourself. So here's what I want you to do. Here's a path. Here's a purpose. All that kind of stuff makes those mentors so important. And I'm grateful to those who have helped my children do that. Because, you know, dad's going to say what dad's going to say. But when you've got backup, have you ever had this happen to you where your kids, wow, I learned this thing at school today. And you're like, I have told you that 20 times, right? But somebody else said it.
Yeah, it's amazing how we glean to what other people say, even though we might be getting it the whole time from our folks. So if we, for those on the stream and listening on the podcast, if we have young kids that we want them to grow up and be a leader, we have to be the leader that they watch growing up, right?
We model it. And this comes down to, I have a great interest in the young men program of the church. I used to serve with Brad Wilcox and Steve Lund on the Young Men Advisory Council. And we thought about this so often. And I mean, it was pretty funny because sometimes I would say something and Brad would point across the table and say, I want to see an article on that on Monday, you know? And so I wrote one for the church news called Competencies Are Better Than Compliments. I mean, you can tell a kid, you're great, you're awesome, you're special, you're great, you're awesome, you're special. Put that on a play loop, right? But teach them how to do something. Teach them how to be competent at something. Teach them how to run a meeting. Give them an agenda. Yeah. And watch what happens to them when I learned how to do something I didn't know how to do. And do that constantly. You're training somebody to take over for you.
Well, and you know, we were talking about freshmen like AJ and Bear and Jane and Kihei. And you look at all these, we're talking about 4 freshmen at the time. And typically in sports, freshmen don't come in and immediately garner this respect. In fact, a lot of times, you've got upperclassmen that kind of want to put them in their place because they haven't earned anything yet. But in all 4 cases, these athletes came in and proved themselves and earned that respect and became leaders because of what they did on the court or the field or on the track or on the course. And other people then saw them as leaders of the team, and it didn't take long. Yeah. And I think with all 4 of the people that we were talking about, that is the situation that played out for all of them. They all came in as freshmen, but because of who they were, the type of people that they are, and the way that they went about their business, it allowed everybody else in their respective teams to respect them and look at them as leaders, despite the fact that they were freshmen.
Yeah. Stephen Covey talks about there's formal authority, you're the boss, and there's moral authority, character, trustworthiness, where you'll run through a brick wall for Lavelle Edwards because of his moral authority. And I knew you were going to ask me about leadership tonight. And one of the moments that I saw, I'm looking right at Baylor right there, was it Baylor and the overtime and Jake Oldroyd struggling with a couple of field goal kicks, and then at the end of the game, who's right next to him? Jaron Hall. Shout out to Jaron Hall, right next to him, being a leader. And I guess so. That would have meant the last play was BYU was on defense and was able to stop a drive. And there's Jaron Hall with Jay Golder, one of the best moments of that's a leader right there that I've ever seen. Saying, listen, we're going to need you all year long.
It was interesting too. All during the season, AJ acknowledged that Richie was the leader of the team. Then Richie gets hurt.
Interesting.
And then AJ then acknowledged, now
I got to step up.
I've got to be the guy. Everyone's looking around. They're looking at me. He's out. Now I got to be the leader. And he went and scored 35 against Texas, almost beat him by himself. But that was the 3 quarters of the season were to prepare him. And then all of a sudden he got the push. He goes, I just turned 19. Now I'm the leader of this team. But he had Richie for half a year. And then he also had Richie on the bench. That it was like the changing of the guard.
Richie on the bench. I mean, I remember hearing comments about that. His presence there was helpful to the whole team. His moral authority, his mentorship was helpful to the whole team, even when he wasn't playing.
This is the kind of stuff we can get on the Follow Him podcast with Hank Smith.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah, this is the kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we don't talk about sports at all, but we have amazing guests. Yeah. And so we recorded earlier today for about 4 hours.
Really?
And I've talked more already than I did on our 4 hours because we let our guests go, because our guests are the secret sauce on Follow Him. Thanks for bringing that up.
Who are the guests? Who'd you talk to?
We talked to Lily Anderson today, who's a licensed marriage and family therapist, and is just brilliant. We did some stuff in First Kings. So we're recording, way ahead of time, but we have a great team that edits and everything.
And you can get that wherever you get your podcast.
Right.
Where you get the Wise Guys podcast, you can get your podcast, and which we think is awesome. All right, 5 questions for John Bytheway is presented by Strategy Square. Let Chantel help your business grow through social media. You can contact her at strategysquare.co. You do a lot of church history tours. Very popular. The one you're leading next month is sold out. There's another one coming up, I believe, next year. Is that right? In the next July. So tonight we thought for 5 questions, we're going to ask you to rank your top 5 church history sites to visit, with number 1 being the favorite. And that might be like saying, hey, I've got to pick my favorite child. That's exactly what it is. So what we want to know is your top 5. We will also
be asking your favorite child at the very end. That's a bonus question.
The top 5. So let's start with number 5 on your list. I gave you a heads up because one, your tours are so vast that I thought, hey, let me give you a couple of days just to think of what those 5 might be that folks are going to actually go on with you this year, next year if they sign up, and then every other year.
And I struggled because I wanted to think, you mean like church history, like since the Old Testament? Because if I was going to give number 1 in the Holy Land, which I did not see coming until I got there, is the south steps of the temple. They call it the Hulda Gate. And It's the place where there's a lot of church history sites in the Holy Land, and where you don't know it's a traditional site. We don't know if it's really where something happened or not, but with a pretty high degree of probability, the South Steps are where Jesus walks out, John chapter 9, and the disciples say, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And Jesus says, none, but that the works of God. And he sends him to the pool of Siloam. Right, the stairs are going to the pool of Siloam. So there's a really high probability that he was there. And you get to they've excavated it down to first century steps. And you just get to sit there. And it's impressive. And I know that there's a story that Neil Armstrong, the first man to set foot on the moon, when he heard that, he said, this was a greater thrill for me to be here than to be on the moon. Wow. Which is incredible, right? So that would be number one for me if I can go to the Holy Land.
All right, but are you doing the Holy Land tour, or are you doing
No, they keep getting
the North
canceled.
American tour?
They keep getting canceled. I was supposed to go this year, and it got canceled, so we've got a couple.
Okay, Ed Eyestone is going to join us in just a few seconds here, so let's go with your top five.
Okay. I think number 2 would have to be the Sacred Grove. And it's just, the thing that's nice is, unlike the Holy Land, a lot of the places where you go, they look the same, or they're trying to make it look the same as it would have during that time. Yeah. In the Holy Land, it's not, except for a few. So Sacred Grove, thinking about the fact that I'm sitting here with you guys today is because a 14-year-old boy said a prayer.
Right.
And thousands of people walked across the continent. Now we're sitting here today at Brigham Young University. Okay, number 3, School of the Prophets in the Newell K. Whitney store. And right next to that room is another room where Section 88, Section 89, Word of Wisdom were given. And I asked the sister missionaries, they're usually sisters that are there, you guys get a study in here? Like, yeah. So
Whitney store, all right.
Yeah. The Newell K. Whitney store would be another one. I think that might go to Carthage next.
Okay.
And everything that happened there. And then after that, maybe Liberty Jail. Okay. People have called that, is it Elder Maxwell that called it a temple prison?
Yeah, I think so.
When you look at section 121, 122, 123, some of the most sublime, amazing things ever, and they came from there, it's pretty impressive.
There's John Bytheway's top 5. Where can we see you next?
Oh, I don't know. On Follow Him, probably.
Okay.
So,
all right. And your church history tour is sold out for this year.
Yeah, I think so.
How can folks get in on next year?
I church history, I go with Legacy Tours and Travel. Okay. And then on all the other tours, I go with Bountiful Travel, bountifultravel.com. But anyway, thanks.
I think it'd be awesome to be on a church history tour with you.
Oh, it would be amazing.
We're going to have a good time.
Would be amazing.
Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me,
John.
guys.
You're welcome here anytime. You know that.
Thanks. I'll take you up on that.
We may never be invited on your podcast, but I want you to know you're welcome anytime.
I don't even know why I'm on. I'm not that smart.
John, by the way, one of the greats and a good friend of our show, and one of the biggest BYU fans that we've come to.
Just an absolute great human being and a great BYU fan.
Good to have you here.
Thanks,
Thank you. Have a great summer. We'll be talking football before you know it. Our next guest is the director of track and field at BYU. He's a 2-time Olympian, a 3-time national champion, a 10-time All-American, a 2-time cross-country national champion coach, a 13-time cross-country coach of the year, a member of the BYU Hall of Fame, and he served a church mission to Barcelona, Spain. It's our pleasure to welcome Ed Eyestone back to the Wise Guys. Coach, welcome.
Hey, thank you. You forgot to mention an all-star barbecuer on this, our Memorial Day. I've got the backyard full of kids and grandkids. We're having a good time, but happy to interrupt my Memorial Day to meet with you guys.
Those
How
burgers,
are you guys doing?
those burgers look amazing. What do you got? What do you have all on the grill? You got cheeseburgers and hot dogs?
Yeah, we've got the cheeseburgers, and they need to come off right now. We got that good Tillamook cheese that we've coated them with there at the end. Got some dogs there. It's just the standard. And we got about 20, 25 people here floating around, but happy to take a little break. I'm going to get these off the grill before they you don't want a burger that's overcooked.
No, you don't.
You want a little pink. We got the kids around, so we already overcooked their burgers. But here, Sam, you want to take that in? Save me one, will you? Okay.
Save him one.
Thank you.
Coach, there's only 4 Triple Crown runners in NCAA history. That means they won the individual title in cross country, 5,000 meter, and 10,000 meter races. You're one of the 4. How impressed are your neighbors by all of that?
I think they just want me to make sure I put some weed and feed on the lawn, make sure the dandelions don't take over. They're like any good neighbors. I think the lot older I get, the better I was. But yeah, no, I have great neighbors here in Orem, and we're happy. And like I say, we got kids running around the backyard and whatnot. But yeah, we're getting excited. We're heading off to the Western Regionals, which is really the first round of the NCAAs, and we've got a core of athletes. I think we have 25 entries on the men's side, 33 entries on the women's side. And again, this is the first round, so they really don't score this meet. You're just trying to get as many people finishing in the top 12 and advancing on to the national meet, which will be in Eugene, Oregon in 2 weeks. But I think we've got a really good crew, and we've got a good opportunity. How's it going, kids? Yeah, Grandpa's doing a podcast right now. So, but anyway, so we're excited and taking off tomorrow on a charter directly out of Provo into Fayetteville, Arkansas.
To win the national championship, what do you have to get done this week to get, one as many contestants, right? Many kids in the field. But what are the key areas to get a team title here in a few weeks at the big one?
Yeah. Well, obviously we have some people of high. Hey, girls, watch the dog sniffing your hamburger. Okay.
This is real life, everybody.
This is real life. So wise guys.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What we need to do is we've got some people that are ranked very high in the Western Regional, and we want them to advance as easily as possible so that in 2 weeks they'll be able to do it against the best in the nation. And obviously we have some people that are ranked very high in their events on the women's side. Obviously Jane Hedengren is going to be doing the double, the 5 and 10,000 double. That's not an easy double, especially for a freshman, but she's been running absolutely amazing. Carmen Alder, I think, is ranked number 3 in the West. And again, this is not about necessarily winning. You just need to finish in the top 12. So if we can have Jane advance easily, Jenna Hutchings is ranked number 3 and number 5 in the 5,000 and 10,000. So if she can advance, Carmen Alder, who's ranked number 3 in the 1,500. So, and Taylor Lovell, who's on the women's side, is ranked number 1 in the steeple. If we can get those people to advance easily, so that they have some juice left in 2 weeks on the women's side, then I think we're going to be in a good position. And let's not forget Paige Rasmussen, who's just been doing amazing. She had a little bit of a tweak on her hamstring at the Big 12 meet, but I think she's coming back. She's going to be in a good position to advance. And then on the men's side, we have our national champion in the 1,500, Carter Cutting. Again, 1,500 is a scary event because things can happen in that, and often it's a strategic type race. But I'm confident that he, with his finishing ability and just the, he's very good at tactically executing a race plan. We want him to advance. We want him to get, and the West Regional on the distance side, on the men's and women's, is usually a little bit more stacked than the East region. So he'll still have his work cut out for him, but we want to see him advance comfortably in the 1,500. James Corrigan's had a few injuries and a few illnesses. He was our NCAA champion last year. He's not ranked in the top 12, but I've got all the respect in the world for that young man, know what he can do when the pressure's on. We saw it when he made the Olympic team back in 2024. We saw it last year when he ran against a very international field at the NCAA championships to win that. So we're just hoping that he can recapture some of that. And then Taven Kitchen, who's a young little freshman, has been running very, very well for us. I think he has a great chance of advancing in the 5,000 meters. And then we have some of our veterans, Creed Thompson, Davin Thompson, and then our 4x4 really lit it up at the Big 12 meet. Right. And they have the 5th best time in the conference, and they should advance. We banned Barton in the 10,000. In the decathlon, decided. Well, it's a tough thing because if you run your decathlete at the conference meet, sometimes they're a little winded when you get to the national meet. And since Ben had already qualified for the national meet, because the decathletes don't have to go through this regional process, they just go off their best mark of the year. And so we just had him run a leg in the 4x4. He split a fantastic leg for us. We started him off because he hadn't done a whole lot of baton exchanges. So he took the lead leg, and he just ran right with the best that the Big 12 could offer up. And we ended up winning our heat, and we've got the 5th best time in the Western Regional. So love to get the 4x4 team qualified as well. And if we can get some of these people that we mentioned that are ranked high or have done well in last year, I think then we can definitely challenge for a top spot at the national meet.
Ed, let's focus in on Jane for a second. And I think one of the things that has impressed me most, obviously everything that she's accomplished, and it's record after record after record. But I love the fact that she's getting the attention and the accolades that she deserves. I'd just like to know from your perspective. I think there's a real case that can be made. I think this has been brought up quite a few times. When it's all said and done, she may leave BYU as the greatest athlete that's ever come through Brigham Young University. How do you encapsulate her freshman season so far?
Well, first of all, Coach Diljit Taylor, who runs the women's distance squad, middle distance squad, has done a phenomenal job. But yes, Jane was the golden lady out of high school, and certainly was a generational talent out of high school. But sometimes those generational talents, as they transition from high school, it's a tough transition. And I think Coach Taylor's done a wonderful job of making sure that she did just enough, not too much, and keeping her healthy. That's probably the number one thing when you're working with a talented woman like a Jane Hedengren. And so Coach Taylor, I think, has just done a wonderful job, as she does with all the women's middle distance and distance runners. So again, Jane's just a generational talent, and I think you're absolutely right. Just what she's done here, her freshman year, already in scoring national records, leading the country, is just phenomenal. And you know what? She'll have her work cut out for her, because there's going to be some people going after her when they're fresh and she's a little bit winded, especially coming back after the 10,000. But I think she has a great opportunity to do some major things. And the nice thing is, she's just such a down-to-earth, wonderful person. Sometimes you'll have someone of that talent, that ability, who's a bit of a prima donna, and the opposite is probably true of her. She's just a wonderful team player. And as I said, I think Coach Taylor's done a wonderful job getting her ready for both the Western Regionals, which she should be able to kind of float through, and then the national meet, which 2 weeks later in Eugene.
One last question for Ed Eyestone. Let you get to your hamburger. By the way, on the live stream, people are putting in their hamburger orders, so we'll forward them. We'll forward them to the great chef.
The Tillamook cheese is important. So go out and get a big old block and go through about a block per meal, and you're going to be just fine. That
sounds good. Coach, BYU is a destination running school. Considering your years and what Coach Taylor's done, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm happy. Obviously, I came here back in 2000 after being an athlete here in the early 80s and mid 80s. And to come back here was a dream come true. I certainly have built on the shoulders of giants before me. And that was the main goal for myself when I came here. Let's just keep this thing rolling and see how good we can ultimately become. And I've been blessed to work with some amazing assistant coaches, and the entire staff. It takes a village to put together. We've got two teams of 45 people each. It used to be a little bit higher before the NIL came. We had two teams of 65, 70. And so we've got wonderful student athletes that want to come and be a part of us. We do a good job recruiting and bringing in the talent. And then, when you have a system up and in place and running, success breeds success, and we just want to keep that rolling for as long as we can.
Off to Arkansas tomorrow. We wish you the best of luck this week and then on to the championships. Thank you for giving us a few minutes on your holiday night with your family and go enjoy dinner. And we appreciate how you represent everything BYU stands for. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks. Appreciate you guys, and go Cougs.
There's Ed Eyestone, the chef. That's like Wolfgang Eyestone cooking hamburgers and hot dogs for his kids, and was so kind enough to carve out a few minutes. And as you heard, the team leaves tomorrow.
Yeah,
and I thought it was interesting in this regional where as we watch all the results come in, we're looking for top 12 finishes because the top 12 then gets you into the national championship.
Correct.
Doesn't have to be 1, doesn't have to be 2, doesn't have to be 3. Top 12, and that's how they can stack their team to when they go to Eugene and run for everything.
This is, we talk about basketball and we talk about football and all of the great programs on campus. The track and field program is right up there with all of them, with the athletes that are coming into the program and certainly what those athletes are then doing as they represent BYU. What Coach Eyestone and Coach Taylor have done with that program is beyond elite.
Yeah, and they're running around the streets all the time. Try not to hit them, right? Because here comes the team.
Well, and speaking of that,
they're all Olympians. It just looks like wow, the best of the best come running past.
I still see Ed running out as the way that I go to the gym in the morning. I won't give the street because I don't want to give where the guy lives.
Yeah.
But I still see him running every morning. He's got out there running. He's got the BYU gear on. And he's still putting in the work.
You can take a guy out of the Olympics, but you can't take the Olympian out of the guy.
Look, I'm going to work out, but watching him run makes me tired.
You speed up a little bit?
No, I don't.
I'm going to go a little faster in my car?
No, I actually slow down because I'm tired.
Ed Eyestone with us, a phenomenal coach and Olympian himself and champion, national champion. That's just great. Give us some insight on what they've got coming up this week. The Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week is presented by Redmond, the secret's in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com. It's our pleasure to announce redshirt freshman golfer Parker Bunn as the Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week. Shep, tell us what he's done.
Yeah, Parker scored his first ever top 10 finish in the NCAA regionals to help BYU qualify for next month's national championship. Finished the first round at -1, the second round at -4, and then the third round -1 to finish the tournament at -6 to tie for 10th place in the individual category. And what's amazing is that he didn't even know if head coach Bruce Bachmeier was even going to include him in BYU's 5-man rotation.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy, right? And then after the tournament, Bachmeier said Parker Bunn was our MVP. In case you are wondering, who is Parker Bunn? 6'5", redshirt freshman, starred at Bonneville High School in South Ogden, where he was the 2023 5A individual state champion. He started his career at Oklahoma State, but ultimately transferred to BYU, and everybody is happy that took place.
Parker Bunn is the Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week. The secret's in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com. Click on the link in the chat and in the show notes for the discount code. That'll give you 15% off of Redmond products. All season long when we've said BYU golf, it's been Kihei Akina.
That's right.
Parker Bunn gets the honor this week. And, man, they needed him. They needed him to qualify for the big dance, which they're heading to, which we'll update you on in just a moment. Our campus notes are presented by BYU Pathway Worldwide. BYU Pathway makes truly affordable, fully online, spiritually based college degrees accessible to folks around the world through greatly reduced tuition, weekly peer gatherings, and English support, helping students earn sooner, increase their income, and deepen their faith. One of the great miracles of the modern day. You can learn more at byupathway.edu. Let's jump right into track and field.
All right, national rankings, women at number 3, men at number 29. Jane Hedengren, no surprise, the Big 12 Outdoor Freshman of the Year. There would be rioting had she not won that award.
Has she not won every award now?
Look, if there's an award that she hasn't won, I haven't seen it yet.
Think about cross country, won it. Indoor, won it. Outdoor, won it.
And no question. I mean, like blowing away the competition.
Insane.
Tavon Kitchen, Big 12 Outdoor Freshman of the Year. Carter Cutting, Big 12 Scholar Athlete of the Year. And as we were just talking about with Coach Eyestone, up next, the NCAA West Regionals, the 27th, so that's Wednesday. As he mentioned, they'll be flying out tomorrow. May 27th through the 30th in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And then the NCAA Outdoor National Championships will be in Eugene, Oregon, June 10th through the 13th.
We've had a lot of memories over there in Eugene with the runners in
Yes,
recent
indeed.
years. Some fall down, get back up.
Have you ever seen that track?
Not in person.
I've had the opportunity one time. I was there with women's soccer, and I ended up getting a tour of the campus, and I got to see that track. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Well, the Cougars will be there, and Jane's going to run on that track.
Yes.
Wonder what kind of time she can turn in that facility.
What record will she break this time?
Yeah. Baseball, 28-28. Their season's over. They went 9-9 against teams that just got into the NCAA tournament. That's pretty good. They won the series with Oklahoma State. They got in. They won the series with Cincinnati. They got in. Showed a lot of promise from a year ago. In the Big 12 tournament last week in Surprise, Arizona, the Cougars beat Texas Tech 18-8. In the first round, Easton Jones was 3 for 4 with 2 home runs, a triple, and 5 runs batted in. Ridge Erickson, 2 for 4 with 2 home runs and 3 runs batted in. His bat just came alive there in Arizona. Then on Wednesday of last week, Baylor beat the Cougars 13-9. Cougars led 8-6 in the 5th. And then the Bears answered with 7 over the 6th and 7th and won it 13-9. Easton Jones made the Big 12 All-Tournament team. Great to see that for Easton. He played last season with a broken hand, didn't tell anybody about it. His numbers were way off. This year, he was back to his old self. And in that tournament, he went 3 for 6, 2 home runs, a triple, was walked 4 times. You know, with a broken hand, he had a lot of strikeouts last year. Strikeouts were down, walks were up, patience at the plate was improved, and his productivity was fantastic. So 4 walks in those 2 games and 5 runs batted in. Thrilled for Easton Jones. And then there were some regular season honors.
Yeah, Ezra McNaughton was named All Big 12 second team. Ashton Johnson also on the second team for the All Big 12. And then Johnson also a Big 12 Scholar Athlete of the Year. So congratulations to both of those athletes.
They got to shore up pitching, and pitching coach Adrian Dinkle's already signed 5 or 6 kids.
Yeah.
He knows what they need. This was his first year of they really did some amazing things with the limitations from injury in that pitching staff, and then the inconsistencies of the pitching staff to get 25 wins. I was impressed by him. I was impressed by Bryson Campbell, the hitting coach, with what Ezra McNaughton did from his first year as a pinch hitter. I think it was at like 115 to the leader in almost every offensive category this year in just his second year.
Well, it was just really great to see the strides that the team made. Remember, they were picked second to last in the Big 12 and obviously destroyed that prediction. But for them to be able to make the strides they did and to work their way up the standings throughout the season was pretty impressive. And it certainly gives the baseball program another stepping stone to be able to try and build off of moving into next year.
And as many games as you and I call for baseball, we love it when they're good and they're playing good because there's a lot of games. We had 23 TV games. And you had a bunch of radio when you were bouncing back and forth between the women's tournament and basketball and baseball. And they're fun. They're fun guys to be around. And they're more fun when they're winning.
Well, and it's such a look. You and I love baseball, and we grew up with baseball, and I know we're on opposite ends of a rivalry here. Which, by the way, my Cardinals are ahead of you in the division.
That's because right now we're in the tank.
But it's fun. It's fun to see these guys, and especially because these are programs that you and I are close with, and so we know these coaches and we know these players, and so it's fun to be able to see them have success and to be able to year in and year out get better and better and better. So, on a personal note, it's fun to see the success that they're having because we know these guys and we root for these guys to be able to do their best.
Men's golf, national ranking 22. Kihei Akina's ranking is 8. The NCAA regionals, Cougars took 4th place in Athens, Georgia. In that regional there, the top 5 qualify for the NCAA championship, so they got that job done. Redshirt freshman, as we mentioned, Parker Bunn finished tied for 10th at -6, and Kihei was tied for 14th at -5. Look for him to bounce back in the championships, which, by the way, are May 29th through June 3rd in Carlsbad, California. I'm glad it's not East Coast. You can just go to the West Coast where they've been playing all year.
There's a lot going on this week.
And I love BYU's chances in that.
I'll take Kihei and this group against anybody out there right now.
Absolutely.
Men's volleyball. Connor Oldani makes the United States U21 national team. So
that's great.
Congratulations to Connor.
Good to him. Women's volleyball, the Cougars signed KJ Burgess, who comes to BYU after 2 seasons at Oklahoma, where she was second team All-SEC last year. Middle blocker, the daughter of BYU assistant coach Chris Burgess. So no one's happier than the Burgesses to have their daughter now here, home, playing in the Smithfield house. She's got a year left of eligibility, a welcomed addition. That's just awesome.
Women's soccer. Look, we were talking about how close we are to the start of some of these college football games. We're going to have women's soccer at South Field coming up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Got the annual blue-white scrimmage coming up on August 1st. Then you've got Idaho State coming to Provo for an exhibition on August 8th. And then the season opener, August 12th, BYU at UCLA.
That's going to be here before you know it.
It's going to be here before we know it.
Skip and a jump. We got some World Cup tune-ups, by the way, some international friendlies coming to South Field. The Korea Republic against Trinidad and Tobago on May 30th, and then the Republic against El Salvador on June 3rd. Both games, 7 o'clock Mountain Time on BYU TV. You can buy tickets at BYUtickets.com if there are any left. That's kind of cool.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That this is happening. I mean, you're going to get a worldwide audience tuning into South Field for these matches. How cool is that?
And you know what? Jen Rockwood has turned South Field into a place.
No question.
It's where you want to be. And now you've got some of the best athletes in the world coming in. And then the Korea Republic's going to go on and compete in the World Cup. And so, you're pulling for the United States around here, but all of a sudden there's a team that's come through BYU and you're kind of like, I'd like to see them do.
I remember seeing them, and you can have.
They came right to our place.
Yeah, you can have a soft spot for that team as well.
Campus notes are presented by BYU Pathway Worldwide. Learn how to increase your education in a way that can benefit your life, and you can get more information on that at byupathway.edu. Tonight's BYU Superfan is also here to promote a very important event that's literally changing the lives of young people living a world away in Uganda. A pleasure to welcome Gary Heaton back to the Wise Guys. Welcome. We'll get that mic under your chin and we're ready to go. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
Let's talk about Super Fandom because that's our new segment, and it's going to be quite the rage as we welcome Cougar fans from all over the world to come on this show and be grilled by us. And we have some hard-hitting questions like, well, for one, what impact has BYU sports had on your life?
Well, I'll tell you, I love it so much I can't even hardly miss a game for anything. I will admit my wife has never been a big sports fan, but she loves me enough that we get to watch most every game. And I did get her to go to a volleyball game this year, and she loved it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she's like, this is really cool.
There's an energy in there.
Yeah.
That's hard to find anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that's a sign of true love right there.
Hey, look, I've been in this business for a very long time. My wife is not a huge sports fan either. But
how is it that none of us married sports fans?
Well, look, it probably helps because you kind of have a little bit of separation in terms of what you're into, so you're not butting heads a little bit. So maybe it helps a little bit. I don't know. Clearly, we've got long lasting marriages here, so we're fine.
Yeah, we're working on it. You bet. All right, well, that's a good sign.
I want to know what it means to you to be tonight's BYU Superfan.
I feel so grateful. It's fun to be here. This is my third time talking about our golf tournament.
Yeah.
And everybody that knows me knows I live and die BYU sports.
Do you have a favorite moment?
Oh, absolutely.
What is it?
It's the Miracle Bowl in 1980, December 20th.
Yeah.
I was 2 days on my honeymoon. My wife, not being a big sports fan, was sleeping. And I was watching this. And I'll tell you a funny story. My brother-in-law was at that game, and he bet some SMU fans $100 that BYU would win. With about 4 minutes left, he to go. He just handed him the
What he
$100
had?
and left.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, and he's driving in the car listening. He's going, oh dang! So he gave up $200 because he would have made $100 instead. He gave away $100.
Do you think the SMU fans looked around for him, or do they just think they go, "Hey, we just got some money. Let's get out of here. We just
I'm
lost."
sure they did.
I have a feeling I know how they spent that money after that game.
I have a feeling you're right.
And when they threw that touchdown pass, my wife was sleeping. I just yelled and screamed and woke her up. It was great.
So that's what I was going to ask you. What type
awesome.
of BYU fan are you? I mean, are you the one that yells and screams at the TV? Or you? I mean, like, what kind of a BYU fan are you when you're watching? And I assume it's probably different being at the venue versus being at home.
When I'm at home, I yell more. I mean, I've got a big screen theater room, and sometimes I'll have my neighbors over, and we're all just yelling our heads off, and it's so much fun.
It's fun to shout at the refs,
Yeah.
which we won't do when we're out in public, but when we're home watching TV.
Oh yeah,
we'll
we
be like,
won't do
"Come
that
on."
in public. Of course not. That would be against the rules.
What about your favorite season? Do you have a season of football that stands out?
I have to say, just this. I don't know.
I mean,
This
last year's
surprised a
was
lot of
pretty
people.
good.
I was going to say last year.
Yeah.
With Bear Bachmeier and the whole thing. And I honestly, can I make a prediction?
Yeah.
With most of the big names coming back, except for those that graduated, I think they're going to go undefeated this year.
Really?
I do. They're going to beat Notre Dame, and I think they're going to win the Big 12 championship.
That's why you're tonight's super fan, because that's how a super fan thinks.
I know most
think
people
go undefeated.
we expect them to lose one or two, and last year I predicted they'd win 10 games, and they did. So.
See if your brother will put $100 on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
He can get his money back finally.
What's Vegas saying? 8.5? Was it about 8.5 for win total?
That's way
over
low.
under.
But typically BYU's low anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
They don't
clearly
get a lot
we
of
saw
respect.
last year they were low, and I understand that with the situation with Retzloff that everybody it was just so many unknowns.
I know.
But boy, BYU blew right past that real quick.
With LJ running the ball this year and healthy and some of the other guys and then that's going to open up the passing game, and they're going to be on a different level this year.
I wrote a story over the weekend in the Deseret News on Bear chasing Max Hall's record as the winningest quarterback in program history. Max won 32 games in 3 years. Bear's on track to win 48. If you just go by the trend. That's 12. But all of a sudden 33. If Bear has a good year this year, then, none of the freshmen start off 12-2.
Right.
Right. And he did. And now if he sticks around and keeps getting better, a kid that was warming up for Stanford last spring, right, that we had no intention of ever coming here, could start writing some serious records, rewriting records in the BYU books right in front of us.
Absolutely. I believe that.
What about basketball? Which BYU basketball player do you have a favorite basketball player of all time?
Well, it was always Danny Ainge because, I was that era.
Yeah.
I got married in 1980, and, Danny Ainge was right through that time and still is. I mean, he was amazing with the Celtics. And so I'm an old-fashioned guy, but, oh, my gosh, you got to love A.J. Dybantsa and what he did this year. I didn't miss a game watching every one of those dunks and everything. It was just so fun to watch him.
It was must-see TV.
And another interesting thing is my little brother, Sean, 2 years ago saying, Richie's my guy. He'd say, that's my guy every time he'd make a basket, and he picked a good one because he was always rooting for Richie. And that it's just fun to hear his passion for Richie.
Think about Ainge and McMahon. Now then you had AJ and Bear this last year.
Yeah.
And McMahon was in 1980 was a junior lighting up the world, right? And Bear was a freshman, but a dynamic quarterback who won 12 games and a dynamic basketball player up at the Marriott Center. All these years removed from your favorite season, right? Of Miracle Bowl, Jim McMahon, favorite player Danny Ainge, right there. And then last year we saw, almost a repeat.
Yes.
So are you of the opinion that you want AJ to go number one because he's made public comments. He wants to be the number one pick. If that's going to happen, in all likelihood, he's going to be a Washington Wizard. or do you want him to somehow end up with the Utah Jazz at number 2?
Obviously, I want him to be with the Jazz, and he and Richie would be great on that team together. I don't think it'll happen, but that'd be wonderful.
Well, I mean, just get Jaeger over there. We have 3 Cougars on the Jazz.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Can you imagine the uproar if the Jazz end up with both AJ and Richie?
Utah fans would have to cheer for them. They wouldn't have a choice.
Utah fans would absolutely lose their minds.
They'd have to come to terms with their inner selves. But that would be fun to watch. BYU superfan Gary Heaton's on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus and Mountain America Credit Union. Let's talk about your other passion, in addition to fandom, is helping kids in Uganda get an education through the Ephraim's Hope Mission. How are things going with that?
It's going great. We started 6.5 years ago. A friend of mine, Jackson Asiko, approached me and said he grew up in a village over there, and he said he understood that over half the kids in his village weren't going to school, and he asked me if I could help him. So in January of 2020, we put our first 30 kids in school. They were all in grade school. We now have 3 in BYU pathways. We have 20 in high school. Nice. And an interesting story about that is they have to pass a test to get into high school, and it's a really rigorous test.
Yeah.
And we've had 100% of our kids pass that test, and it's way above average, and some of them are scoring the highest because we have a tutor for those kids that are struggling. And then we have over 80 kids in grade school. And so we have people that support some of these children individually, and then we also have our annual golf tournament that helps us raise most of the money.
I want to know what it's like when you think about at the beginning, in the infancy of all this, when it's just an idea, like this is what we want to do. And now you see where it is today. And you talked about some of the real world applications in terms of the number of students that are actually doing this and some of the success stories. From the idea to where it is now, take me through sort of the range of emotions as you've gone through this process.
Well, the biggest and most wonderful experience I had was I went over there in November of 2023. I met Moses, who runs the charity over there for us. He just got called to be a bishop.
Oh, yeah?
And he's busy. But the range of emotions, just meeting, I went to every one of their homes. At the time, we had about 80 kids, and I met every one of their homes. I met the kids. I met their grandmas or their caregivers, and it was a life-changing experience. I was just they're living on dirt floors, and a lot of these grandmas would have a square, a rectangular type building, and they didn't have enough room for their grandkids because some of these kids' moms had died, and they didn't know where the dad was, or anyway, a lot of them are orphans. So these kids a lot of times would have to have somebody help them build a little round hut with the thatch on the top, and it was just interesting walking into these places and seeing how they live, and yet these are happy people. They're just happy people, and so I truly never dreamed growing up that I would be doing this. I just kind of fell into it, but I can tell you the Lord's hand has been in everything. Finding the people to help over there. Moses has just been amazing, and then we got Jack Hadley involved about 3-4 years ago, and he's been amazing, and we've got a board of directors that are, none of us get paid for this, we just do it because of our passion.
Yeah.
So 100% of the money goes towards helping these kids. We pay Moses his salary of, I asked him if we could pay him $200 a month. He goes, nah, if you give me that, I'll put 2 more kids in school. So we pay him $200 a month to run the program. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty good money over there. It's just a whole different experience in Uganda and what they do over there. And it changed my life going over there.
Isn't it interesting that we've seen through Ephraim's Hope and also through BYU Pathway that the way to a better life is through education?
Absolutely, and the thing that will happen is as these kids graduate from college, now Jackson Asiko from the village has his doctorate degree, and it was his vision to do this, and now the idea is that these kids will graduate from college and then go back, and they'll get good jobs, and they'll go back and bless the lives of their village. Right now we have most of the children, there's only 1 child per family unit going. And we did it that way because there's so many kids not going, and they all have brothers and sisters who aren't going to school. But the idea is hopefully they can help their family and help them grow and have a great experience in the future. And it's just fun to see what they're going through and how they're excelling.
Well, tell us about this golf tournament that we're excited about, June 11th at Fox Hollow Golf Club in American Fork. There's signups now on the stream and in the show notes. But what we want people to come play, because the money that we're going to raise is going to send kids to school.
Yeah, we still need about 11 more teams to sign up. I've got a lot of friends that said they're going to sign up, and everybody procrastinates.
Well, the deadline's here.
Yeah,
right?
I need to turn in the team names in about a week and a half, and so I expect the audience here and friends will finish filling that up. We also have some individual teams that I'm putting together. Our website doesn't allow somebody to go on and sign up individually, but if somebody wants to pay $125 and come and just play with a team, we'll assign them to a team. We'll put a link on how they can get a hold of me or Jack and figure out how we can get, they can go on there and make a donation and we can put them on a team. So yeah, we need players. The other thing we need is sponsors. Yeah. And thank you so much for being a Thrive sponsor every year. This is your third year, and we appreciate you so much. You guys have helped us raise over $70,000 in the last 3 years, and that puts a lot of kids in school. And so we need sponsorships. We have a title sponsor, Creed Construction. Yeah. That's a $5,500, and he just loves what we're doing. That's great. He told me this year he wants to go over and help us build a school in a couple of years. And awesome. And then we've got, we're looking for a Hope sponsor. A Hope sponsor is $3,500. Part of that, you get a team to play. Also, they get to come on this show and talk about their business for a few minutes, and your great audience will benefit those businesses that participate. We have Thrive sponsorship. We have whole sponsorships that are $1,250. That includes a foursome, or if they just want to do a whole sponsor without a foursome, it's $750. So that's kind of what we're looking for. We're trying to fill up all those whole sponsorships.
It's golf for a great cause. We'll have a good time over there. We'll be over there and harass some of the players, but it's everyone loves to play golf, and this is, play golf, have a good lunch, and send kids to school in Uganda. That's a pretty sweet gig. There's also some silent auction items that we're particularly excited about that should, I can think of one basketball that should send a whole village to school for a year. That's signed by A.J. Dybantsa.
Yeah, and that one will not be auctioned off at the golf tournament. We're holding off on doing that one. We'll put it live next week, but we're holding off on doing that one after the NBA draft.
Right, because it could be the autograph of the number one pick.
Yes, that's why.
That'll send a whole bunch more people to school.
I think it's great, Dave, that you've offered a free or a 24-hour hangout with you, starting at midnight to the next midnight. They can spend 24 straight hours with you.
Listen, Wise Guys is completely for sale in our support of Ephraim's Hope.
Where do they go, by the way, if they want to sign up or if they want to get more information? Where do they need to go?
ephraimhope.org, and we'll post that link, and the golf tournament will pop up, and they can go on and be a sponsor or sign up. I want to thank you, Dave, for getting that AJ ball signed for us.
AJ has got a heart of gold. Yes. And Ace and Chelsea, their family, and they were excited to do it. This is where this ball's going. This is what this ball's going to do.
And I share some of the other auction items. Yeah. One of my favorites is 2 people get to golf with Dave and Blaine at the Riverside Country Club.
Yeah, you won't forget that. I promise you that. For better or for worse, it'll be a memory you won't forget.
It'll be a ton of fun. I might be bidding on that one myself. I'd love to go play with you guys, but there should be some people here in our audience that want to meet you guys and go have a great time. And
yeah, that'd be great.
Somebody with deep pockets to donate quite a bit for that. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, deep pockets, everybody, on that one.
And then we have that Richie Saunders signed basketball.
Another NBA guy.
And jersey. Each item will be in its own display case. And we have 10 Splash Summit season passes, which includes also 10 season 2 passes, 3 season parking passes, and a 1-day cabana rental. It's over $1,200 value. We're going to auction that off.
Fantastic.
We've got good old Minky Couture donates every year. We've got an adult-sized blanket. Hotel Park City. We have a 4-night stay at a Nauvoo Historic Heart House donated by Randall Smith, and that came from your audience here 2 years ago. He's donated that every year.
Great.
And those who have gone said they loved it. here's an interesting one. A friend of mine named Steve Human. He does video production, TV commercials, and he's donating a 3-minute documentary video. It's worth $3,000. So if somebody wants to do a documentary
on their life,
or their business, or whatever,
that's a great idea.
And I've also got another friend, Michelle Lockhart, that donate a 1 to 2 person podcast from Pando Studio, similar to this. They have a studio, and that's for 1 to 2 people. It's an $800 value. Sierra West Jewelers donated a necklace, bracelet, and earrings, and a Citizen watch. Those are pearl necklace. And we've got a 2-night stay in Holiday Inn, Little Giant Ladder. They have a foursome coming. They donated some ladders. Pizza Factory donated a $750 gift certificate for a family reunion or a company party.
That's big time.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pizza.
That is a lot of pizza.
And so if you want to have a big family reunion, you can feed the whole family in a big company. We have a 10 punch pass for a 1-hour massage, 10 1-hour massages at Recover Chiropractic. Very generous. I've had several there, and they do a great job. We have a friend of mine, Scott Litke, that donated a 4-night stay in Puerto Rico at his Airbnb.
What?
And it's incredible.
That's awesome.
And he's one of those pools where you sit in it and just kind of...
Oh, the infinity pool.
The infinity pool that looks out to the ocean. Somebody donated, a friend of mine, anonymous donor, said that they gave us $250 gift card to Cabela's.
Great.
Another friend, Clint Knapp from Vacuum Doctor, donated a Air Pure and Clean home portable air filter, high-end air filter. My brother, Sean Heaton, donated a 5-day guided fishing trip on the Kenai River, and it also includes a day on a halibut charter. That's worth $4,600. That includes airfare and lodging.
Do you have to eat the fish? You have to eat the fish, or will?
You don't have to if you want to. Somebody else will eat it if you don't want to. That means you haven't had good cooked fish. That's just some of it, and
that's great.
We hope to add a bunch more if we have any of you in this audience that want to donate an Airbnb, or our goal is to get more women in the tournament this year, and so we'd like items that'll appeal to them. We got the. So that's kind of exciting for that.
We're all in on this, June 11th, and we look to raise a whole bunch of money to send a whole bunch of kids in Uganda to school for the upcoming year and beyond. So come play with us. Again, it's the link is in the show notes and in the stream. What deadline? What's the deadline?
So we're starting the auction next Monday night.
Okay.
And then it will go live, and then that auction will end on the day of the golf tournament, probably around 1:30, 2 o'clock.
And as far as signing up for the golf tournament, what's our deadline for that?
When it's full.
So you got some time to figure it out.
But don't procrastinate. Get in now.
Do not procrastinate the day of your registration.
There you go.
Can I mention one more thing?
Sure.
There's a lot of people that want to participate in helping us that don't golf or won't be there. All the teachers, the schools just ask us to get backpacks for all these kids. So we've got some high-end, really nice backpacks because our kids' books were wearing out fast. Yeah. And if you want to donate, just go on our site, ephraimhope.org, and donate $25. It'll go for a backpack for one of these kids. We're having their names put on it with our Ephraim Hope logo, and it's something they can be proud of. And
that's awesome.
So people can participate in a small way, big way, anything helps.
Fantastic. Gary Heaton, our BYU super fan, and doing a super job with the Ephraim's Hope mission and the golf tournament coming up, which the Wise Guys fully endorses, and we'll be there on that morning of June 11th. We hope to be able to see a lot of you. So come help us participate in a great cause. It's changing a part of the world most of us will never see in our lifetime, but we see the results because we find out how many kids are in school and what they can do with their life. And all we did was get together, play golf, and donate some money. So we can do that. That's what we can do over here. We'll
have a great breakfast and lunch, and we don't want it to last a long time. That's why we're doing the auction online.
We'll get them in and out.
And we draw the raffle tickets while they're eating, so they don't have to wait to have that happen. If you've been to some of the golf tournaments where it lasts forever, when you get back, we try to speed that up and get it done quick.
Weather's promising to be outstanding. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch as we get closer, and especially when that AJ ball goes live on the auction, we want to let everybody know they have a chance to get that. Put that in their office and come in and go, that's the number one pick. That's AJ.
It'll be in a nice display case, and
Yeah.
Really nice.
Fantastic. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for all you
Thanks.
do.
Appreciate you.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Good to meet you, Jason.
Nice to meet you.
Playing golf. And again, you can sign up for the golf tournament at ephraimhope.org. You can also go there and make a donation. And let's change the lives of a bunch of kids and get them to school. That's great. And if you are a BYU super fan, we'd love to bring you on this show. Just go to the link at wiseguys.com and provide your contact information and a paragraph or two about what makes you a BYU super fan. And then it's on us to make it happen. Wise Guys is a show for all of Cougar Nation, and a stream on Monday nights gives us a chance to come on and do what we just did with Gary. We grill him. I felt like we grilled him pretty good on his fandom.
I think he handled it well, too.
We now know exactly where he stands on fandom. And so many of you have your own stories, and that's what we want to do on this show. In addition to the big guests and all that stuff that come on, you're one of our big guests. And so go to wiseguys.com, fill out the information, and then we'll get with you. I'll actually email you and say, all right, does this date work? And we'll lock in and make it happen. We're already filling up slots for the summer. Heading in, I booked a super fan for August 20th, and that's like the season's on, practice is on, AFR's back.
I was going to say, how many AFRs are we into at that point?
Like 4, I think, by then. Anyway, that's in the calendar. That's how fast it comes.
We're
trying to slow it down this year.
Yes.
Trying to slow it down this year, but it just comes fast.
Life never stops, Dave.
No, it doesn't. That sun keeps coming up. No matter how bad of a day you had, the sun comes up in the morning.
Yes, it does.
Hey, Wise Guys is proudly supported by Quack Car Wash. Quack is back in Southern California, celebrating their 5th location in San Bernardino. That's 3 new San Bernardino locations in the last 10 months. They're taking over the place. That makes 36 locations in Riverside and San Bernardino counties alone.
And the fundraiser in conjunction with this grand opening is helping a young single mother of a 4-year-old and with a baby on the way. She is working to get reliable transportation to help support her family. As usual, there will also be 12 days of free car washes starting Wednesday at the new San Bernardino location.
I love that they do 12 days of free car washes. Quack is also looking for nominations for fundraisers at upcoming locations. And these locations are coming fast and furious. Every week they're opening 3 or 4, so it seems. You can nominate somebody at quickquack.com/preview fundraiser. That information is going to be in the stream and the show notes. Quack Car Wash is owned and operated by BYU grads. They support Cougar athletics, and they support the Wise Guys, and they always encourage us to don't drive dirty. That's what they do at Quack. So when you're driving past a Quack, and you can't drive very far without driving past one, and there's like Donald Duck on there, but it's like, hey, BYU guys run that company. Go wash your car there.
That's exactly where I get my car washed.
We support.
I'm all about the Quack.
And we appreciate their support. They support us. Should we get out of here?
Let's do it.
On this day, May 25th, Memorial Day, let's go to 1787. What happened on this day in 1787?
That would be the Constitutional Convention opening in Philadelphia with George Washington presiding.
That happened today.
Which makes me wonder, if he was presiding, who was conducting?
A visiting authority.
Okay.
1935, the greatest 45 minutes in sports. Jesse Owens equals or breaks 4 world records in 45 minutes at a Big Ten meet in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And they call it the greatest 45 minutes in sports.
1951, Giants outfielder Willie Mays makes his major league debut, goes 0 for 5 in an 8-5 win over the Phillies. That would certainly not be a reflection of the rest of his career.
Clearly, he turned things around.
He was able to figure it out pretty quick.
But he was humbled at the start.
Yeah,
He's in the show, and he goes 0 for 5. 1961, President Kennedy announces the U.S. goal to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. People are like, what? Are you crazy? Then he did it. Yep.
1965, Muhammad Ali knocks out Sonny Liston in the first round to retain the heavyweight championship.
1968, the Rolling Stones released Jumpin' Jack Flash, which is still on the radio.
Yes, it is.
It's awesome.
1977, the final episode of The Brady Bunch aired on ABC.
This surprised me. I know you're a lot younger than me, but Brady Bunch was an after-school thing. And I thought, really? It ended in 1977? I was 10. I guess that's about right. television moved on from the Brady
See,
Bunch.
I would watch it in the morning on TBS.
Yeah. That was classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was great stuff. 1977. How about this? Star Wars premieres in the United States.
I've heard of
on
it.
this day.
I've heard of it. I'm going to go see the new
worked
Mandalorian
out.
and Grogu tomorrow, by the way. Have
Is
you
that
seen?
like the movies?
It is a movie, but essentially I've been told it's like 3 episodes of the Disney Plus series they just made into a movie.
To get you to go to the theater?
Probably.
By the way, we saw the Michael Jackson movie the other night.
It's amazing, right?
It was great.
It's amazing.
I recommend it to everybody.
I loved it.
That was good.
Loved it.
I wasn't quite sure what it was going to be.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, no, my family absolutely loved it. 1983, staying with the Star Wars theme, Return of the Jedi premiered in the United States.
This Memorial Day weekend, right? The holiday weekend is when all these new movies
That's
popped
right.
up.
That's right.
Did you like Jedi better than Star Wars?
No. If I'm going to go with just the original 3, it goes Empire Strikes Back, then A New Hope, then Return of the Jedi.
You're going with Empire Strikes Back out of the gate?
Yeah.
The Ewoks weren't in that one.
No. There's
I think Jedi was the best of those 3 for me. I don't know why. I don't know. Because they won. That felt good.
clearly it's because of the Ewoks, or you wouldn't have brought it up.
Well, the Ewoks were in there, and they won. That was always a good one. The other ones were like, oh man, are we going to win this or not? I got to wait 2 years for the next one to come out.
Yeah, but at least they were good movies back then. What we're getting now is not great.
Yeah, you're right. 1989, on this day, Mikhail Gorbachev is elected president of the Soviet Union. And if you follow the relations between the Soviet Union and the United States, Gorbachev was a huge figure in there with President Reagan in making things better.
Yeah, that was the turnaround that allowed the two powers to be able to find common ground and ultimately move past the Cold War. 1992, Jay Leno.
Wait a sec. I just got a note from DJ. The Ewoks speak Tagalog, which Chase Roberts also speaks from his mission.
If he ran into an Ewok, they would be able to talk?
He'd be able to give him the lessons.
Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Baptizing an Ewok would be a big get for us.
That would be something.
Would be a big get. 1992, Jay Leno announced as the permanent host of The Tonight Show and began a long feud between he and David Letterman.
Yeah. You know what I liked about Leno? He was funny and he stayed out of politics for the most part. Today's is all...
I was always, between the two, I was always a Leno guy. Always.
Over Letterman?
Yes.
Letterman was on the CBS station I worked for in Vegas, and so we were tied into that. But Leno, I've watched a lot of his interviews, and Leno's first class.
He gets it. He gets it.
First class guy. Wonder Woman, 2017, on this day, premiered in the United States.
It was great. Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Should we get to the birthdays?
Let's do it.
All right. May 25th birthdays. 1803, Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Wow. How about 1932, Casey Jones, former NBA All-Star, coach of the Celtics, Coach Danny Ainge.
There you go. 1944, Frank Oz.
Who's Frank Oz?
Frank Oz is a puppeteer, a Muppeteer, if you will.
What did he do?
Grover, Cookie Monster, Bert, Miss Piggy, Fozzie Bear.
He did all those?
Yes, and to bring it all back to Star Wars, he was Yoda as well.
No kidding.
Yes, he actually was the puppet in the original trilogy of Yoda, and he is the voice of Yoda.
Think of this guy, Frank Oz, who most of us have probably never associated with those voices. Some probably did. But those voices and characters are all a part of our life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he's a great director as well. If memory serves, he was the director of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Is that
with
right?
Steve Martin and Michael Caine.
I didn't know that.
Which is a great movie. I hope that's accurate. I'm pretty sure that's true.
A lot of the stuff on this show is accurate.
Look, as long as I believe it's true, it's true.
How about May 25th, deaths? On this day in 1995, Krešimir Ćosić, former BYU star, Yugoslavian hero, politician, ambassador, you name it, one of the greats, and passed away on this day. In 1995, his number 11's up in the rafters at the Marriott Center. Still remember that ceremony when his wife and kids were here. He had passed away, and what a moment when they revealed that up there.
Well, and as we were talking about, some of the greatest basketball players of all time, I mean, Krešimir Ćosić, Danny Ainge, Jimmer Fredette, and maybe you're going to add AJ to that list. Yep. Maybe that's the 4 greatest basketball players to ever play here.
Yeah, and there's been some great ones, but those would be the Mount Rushmore guys, wouldn't they? Our Wise Guys Inspirational Quote of the Week is from Kreshimir Chosic, who said,
"It is easy to be mean. You don't need human qualities for that. As soon as human value is lost, everything is in danger. Everything collapses."
Yeah, more than just a basketball player right there, Kreshimir
Well said.
Chosic. On this Memorial Day, we certainly pay tribute to those who paid the ultimate sacrifice while serving in the United States Armed Forces and their families. I love that we have a day. We probably should have more days, but I love that we have a day where we can stop and we go to the cemetery and put our flags out and pay tribute to those who paid the ultimate sacrifice on this holiday weekend. We were talking about at the start of the show. It's not like, hey, happy holiday. It's a different kind of there's a Labor Day holiday too, and that's like, what do you say, Happy Labor Day?
Right.
But since everyone a lot of folks got the day off, it goes right into that holiday type thing. But the holiday is we get our families together and get around the people we love and hopefully express gratitude for those who went before us.
Well, and I think the other part that I think we have significantly lost, and look, my adolescent years were in the 1980s, and there was never more of a patriotic time and a proud to be an American time than the 80s. So I kind of grew up with that. And anytime there's an opportunity for us to be patriotic and do things like that, like we see today with everybody flying their flags, and I am all for it. So love these types of days.
Wise Guys would love to connect you to Cougar Tribe. You can sign up for free at CougarTribe.com. Interact with a wide community of BYU fans all week long, including our special Q&A sessions, which we'll actually record after tonight's show, and then they'll be available on Cougar Tribe starting tomorrow. You can sign up for free at CougarTribe.com, so you get Cougar stuff all the time. You got Sports Nation in the morning. You got Wise Guys at night. You got Cougar Tribe in all the other times. And it's just constant.
Which is what
like
BYU fans
water.
want. They want
water.
a constant stream of BYU stuff.
And that's what we do. That's what we do. And we thank you for watching and listening and participating with us. John Bytheway was here tonight. He was fantastic. BYU Director of Track and Field Ed Eyestone was with us while he was grilling hamburgers at his house.
Man, those looked good.
They did look good. Maybe we should swing by.
I know where he lives. We can swing by if you want.
See if he's got any extra. And Gary Heaton from Ephraim's Hope Foundation, the Ephraim Hope Mission. The golf tournament's coming up. All BYU guys doing amazing things. And that's why we spotlight him here on the Wise Guys. Next week, new BYU cornerbacks coach Lewis Walker. He's going to roll in here.
Very nice.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Haven't had a chance to talk with him yet.
It'll be great. Derek Miller, the president of the BYU Alumni Association, will be with us. He's also the head of the Salt Lake Chamber of Commerce. And we'll talk alumni activities for the fall and his vision for things, Derek Miller. And then BYU superfan Russ Paulos, who lives in Naperville, Illinois, who's on the stream tonight. He's flying here.
Just for this?
And I said, Russ, we could do a Zoom. And he goes, my daughter's birthday or something, there's something going on with his family. He's coming out anyway. And he goes, no way. I'm coming to the studio. So we'll have Russ here from Naperville, Illinois next week.
Now that is a super fan.
That's a BYU super fan. And we want you to go to wiseguys.com and sign up. We'll try to get all of you on. We're never going away, so there's plenty of opportunities. But we want to bring Cougar Nation in from all over the world and give you a chance to get on here and talk about why you're such a BYU super fan. That'll be a lot of fun. Fun length next week. We do want to remind you before we say good night that the Redmond night with the Wise Guys is coming up June 15th, just around the corner. Our first live remote from the Redmond Heritage Farm Store on 8th North in Orem. We've done remotes. We had Travis Kimball doing a live quick quack in San Diego when they opened up down there. That was kind of fun. But now we're taking the show on the road, and we'll be right there in the parking lot at Redmond Heritage Farm Store on 8th North in Orem. There'll be free tacos, Redmond Re-Lyte drinks, and we'll have a lot of fun. So come join us from 6 to 8 on June 15th, Monday night. We'll make history, Redmond night with the Wise Guys, and we remind you when it comes to Redmond Re-Lyte, the secret is in the salt. So there's a lot of big activities coming. The next biggest activity in the stadium is Stadium of Fire.
That's right. And this year it's going to be featuring Brad Paisley. And you can get your tickets for Stadium of Fire with Brad Paisley and one Dave McCann, I might add.
You know, are you a Brad Paisley fan?
I'm not
It's time that you became one.
Look, I'm not. I don't listen to a lot of modern country or in the last 10, 15 years.
This isn't Metallica over there at the Pepsi Center in Denver, wherever you went.
It was Mile High.
This is Brad Paisley, and you need to make some room for him.
Okay, that's
just
fine.
Just a little sliver. He's got some great stuff.
Is he still married to? Is he still married to the actress that was in Father of the Bride?
Yes.
Okay, I'm a fan of hers. I do like her in the movie. She's very good.
Yeah, she's great. They
but
do a lot of stuff that's awesome. We're friends with Brad's dad that we got to know.
You've said
West
that.
Virginia.
Yeah, you've had a chance.
He's been on the show a couple of times.
Yeah, you've said you've had him on the show and talked to him a couple of times.
And they've been at Stadium of Fire before, and they're awesome. It's going to be great.
Well, look, if you want to go and you want to go to Stadium of Fire and you want to see Brad Paisley and you want to see Dave McCann, go to stadiumoffire.com. And by the way, BYU grad Jim Evans, the executive director of America's Freedom Festival at Provo, will join the show in 2 weeks. So you're going to get a little bit more of an in-depth preview of this as well.
Yeah. And here's the thing about Jim. He's one of the biggest supporters of BYU women's basketball that I know.
Yes, I know Jim.
And he sits right across from you at the 50-yard line of the Marriott Center court.
He is
right there
he's
every
right
game.
there.
And he just loves it. So he's a big fan of yours, and he's a great supporter of what Lee Kamard's got going on.
Yeah, this Lee has done a fantastic job with women's basketball.
We remind you, Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus, supplies plus support. Find out more at bradyplus.com.
And by Mountain America Credit Union, empowering dreams for over 80 years. Find out what they can do for you at macu.com.
Our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week is presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com. Parker Bunn, redshirt freshman, one of the big heroes at the NCAA Golf Regionals for BYU. He is our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week. And we remind you, Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News. So here we go. We're finished with May.
May is over. Bring
June.
on June. Bring on the vacations. It's time.
It's great to have Jason Shepard in the house with us tonight. In for Blaine, I'm Dave McCann. We're the Wise Guys. Have a great week. We'll see you at CougarTribe.com, and we'll see you back here next week for a great show. And by the way, Wednesday, keep your eye on Sports Nation, and we'll have social media on it too. The kickoff times and the TV details for the first 3 football games are announced on Wednesday. That's exciting.
It's getting close.
We get the littlest things. We're 12 when this comes out, but it's cool.
We will spend weeks talking about the dates that come out, dates and times that come out on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to starting next Monday for sure right here on this show. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. And again, we hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend with your friends and family, and hopefully you got a chance to swing by the cemetery nearest you and pay your respects to those who've gone on before us, especially those who've died in the service of our armed forces and our country. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you next week.